The number one way to succeed as a reseller in 2024 is to have a clear vision and plan of exactly what you want to achieve. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to set goals for your sales and income and break down step by step exactly how to achieve them. Hey everyone, my name is Bethany and I, along with my husband Sean, run Trash Pandas Thrift. We are a six-figure reselling business, and here on this channel, we share with you all of our tips, tricks, and experiences, also that you can grow and start your very own reselling business too. And if you've started that reselling business and you want so desperately to grow it, I'm going to share with you the exact tools for success that Sean and I use in our business year after year in order to measure our own growth. That is exactly how you can set your own sales goals and income goals and achieve them. And I've got 3 steps for you to do exactly just that. Before we get started with today's video and setting your sales goals, I want to take a moment to talk about a partner of our channel, Gyropack. At Trash Pandas Thrift, you guys know we're all about finding the most cost-efficient way to operate our business without sacrificing quality. So for the last few months, we've been using poly mailers from Gyropack, and the 2 things we love most about them are the quality of the poly mailers themselves and even more so, the cost, which is absolutely an insane deal. They range for the sizes we use from about 8 to 11 cents per bag. So we personally use the 10 by 13s and the 12 by 15 and a halves every day we ship out orders in our business, and based on feedback, our customers are always impressed and excited to receive their orders. In the past, we've used other poly mailers we've bought online that were double and at one point even triple the cost, and honestly, they weren't even as nice. Gyropack offers a great option for resellers to purchase poly mailers, bubble mailers, and other essential shipping supplies at affordable prices with great quality, and they even offer free shipping on all US-based orders. To get 10% off your next order, use coupon code TRASHPANDAS or click the link below in our description. And now, back to today's video. So, number 1, what you're going to have to want to do is know your outcome. That is exactly how I started off this video. You need to have a clear vision of exactly what you want to achieve, and more so, it's honestly why, right? Why are you reselling? If you're part-time, what is your goal with your reselling income? It all boils down to one thing. How much do you want to make in net profit per month? Do you want to save for your kids' college? Do you want to invest for your future? Do you want to buy a new car, pay off debt, take a vacation? The options are endless. And if you are full-time, if you're planning on being full-time, it's a lot more in depth, right? What does it cost to run your household? Some of the biggest expenses to get your mind rolling as I'm speaking, you're going to want to think about rent, utilities, miscellaneous bills, debt payments, car payments and insurance, childcare if you have children and will need it, health insurance, food, entertainment, and of course, fun money. Taking all of those things into account, whether you're full-time or part-time, you're going to be able to get to that number 1 outcome that you want to achieve, and that's going to be your net profit. How much do you actually need to take home every month to be sustainable in your business? Okay. Number 2, now that you do know your outcome, you need to know where you're starting from, because the only way to get where you want to go, you need to know where you're actually starting. And I know that seems counterintuitive, but as we've shared on many other videos, the number 1 thing that most resellers don't have is a clear vision of where they actually are. They don't know how much money they're actually bringing home. And if you don't know how much money you're actually bringing home, there's no way to build on top of that and actually hit a sales goal that you can feasibly hit. It creates unrealistic expectations for you and for the sales goals that you're trying to hit as well. And I know that because I've been there, which is why number 2 is almost as important as number 1, knowing your numbers. And by this, I mean all of the various expenses that come into and take a play into your reselling business. That could be big expenses like your average cost of goods, and that could be things that you need to know in order to keep track of how much money you're actually making. If you know your average cost of goods, the next biggest number you're going to need to know in your business is your average sales price. What is the average sales price of all of the items that you're selling across your platforms if you are selling on multiple platforms, eBay, Poshmark, Depop, all of the goodies. Then after that, you're going to want to know right now, what is your current net profit after all business related expenses? By that, I'm referring to net profit as that number, that big gross number that you see whenever you open up your sales. You want to see your total sales. In order to get to that net profit number, you need to subtract all of your expenses. You're going to want to subtract your average cost of goods, your fees, your gas, your supplies, your shipping supplies, all business expenses. And then you're going to want to know one final metric so that we can create a plan to achieve your goals. The last metric you're going to want to know is the sell-through rate of your store. The sell-through rate of your store is very similar to the sell-through rate of an item when you want to comp an item on eBay. It refers to how many items are you selling versus how many items are you listing. Step number 3. Now, knowing your numbers, you can work backwards towards success. You know where you already are. You have a vision where you want to be. Now we can go ahead and figure out, okay, what do I need to do to get there? I'm going to give you a mock scenario that we cooked up and we mathematicaled all out so that you can have a good idea of what to do for yourself in order to figure out your same goal. Now, we use all different numbers that we chose for this example, so it's not going to be the same as you and your business, and I'll tell you more about how to actually use your own numbers to plug in later on after we do the math. So let's say that you want to make $65,000 per year in net income before taxes, and your numbers look like this in the scenario. So we have $5 as the average cost of goods. Your average sales price is going to be $35. We're going to do 15% average fees, and then we're also going to take into account $1 per item in extra business-related expenses because, again, we don't really have an exact number in a mock scenario for shipping supplies, for additional fees if you're promoting, things like that as well. This makes it a little bit more averaged out. So let's work through what your average profit per piece is. That way we can actually work backwards to figure out how many pieces, how many items do I need to sell to make that $65,000 a year. So to work that out, we're going to get the average net profit per piece by taking your average sales price, $35, and seeing how much you take home after just fees. So we're going to multiply that $35 times 0.85 to take away that 15% in platform fees. Then we get $29.75. So we're now going to take that $29.75, which is your take home after your fees. Now, that's not all we have to subtract, right? We got to keep going and subtract all expenses like cost of goods and that dollar per item. So let's start with cost of goods first. Your average cost of goods is $5. So let's subtract that $5 from $29.75. You're going to get $24.75 currently as your net profit per item, and we only have one other number to account for. Now we just have to minus your dollar in miscellaneous expenses. That leaves us with $23.75 as your net profit per item. So keep that in mind. Now we're going to use the sell-through rate of your store to figure out how many items you need to list and sell to hit that magic $65,000 per year in net profit if each item gives you that $23.75 in net profit. Okay, so for the sake of the scenario, to make it easy mathematically, we're going to say that the sell-through rate of your store is 50%. You sell 50% of the items that you list. Your desired income, again, is $65,000 per year. What we're going to do is go ahead and take that $65,000 in desired income, divide it by that number we just got as your net profit per item of $23.75. That's going to tell us how many items you need to sell in 1 year in order to hit that net profit goal. So $65,000 divided by your net profit per item of $23.75 is going to come out to 2,737 pieces sold in 1 year. That's how many you need to sell in that year in order to hit that net profit goal. Take it into account your net profit per item. So dividing that 2,737 items by 12, we get 228 items that you need to sell per month. Okay, now let's boil it down to weekly, and we can divide that by 4 to get that. 228 divided by 4 is 57 items that you have to sell per week in order to get that $65,000 in desired income. Now is going to be when your sell-through rate comes into play. With a 50% sell-through rate, you're going to have to list 114 items per week, or 16 items a day to hit your net income goal, because you're only selling half of what you're listing with that 50% sell-through rate. Okay, that means the magic number is 16 per day to hit your net income goal. I know that was a lot of math, but it works, and it is so empowering to be able to see a number that is a really great starting point for exactly how much money you want to make. I do want to say, though, that in this scenario, this is not including unsold items cost. So we just talked about your sell-through rate. You're only selling half of the items you're listing, right? To actually account for that extra inventory expense, that's a whole different calculation, and it gets quite a bit more complicated. That would be hard to do in a small YouTube video. This is a great starting point, though, because honestly, just taking a number out of thin air is not going to equal the amount of money that you actually want to make. You need to, number one, know where you're starting from, and number two, work backwards to have a good starting point of, okay, if I'm listing 5 a day, and I was this person, I wanted to have $65,000 in desired income, I'm never going to hit it if I just keep listing 5 a day. Now I know I need to up my listings to at least 16 per day in order to hit my net income goal if my sell-through rate and my net profit per item stays the same. So again, it is a great starting point. It's not accounting advice, but this is essential to get to know your numbers, and it will vary greatly depending on your individual business's factors. You're going to want to take your individual business numbers, your average sales price, your average cost of goods, and your store sell-through rate, and you're going to want to input it in the exact spots that I input it here in this mock scenario in order to have a starting point for a calculation for you and your business. Sales goals are important, and the only way to achieve them is to, know exactly how many we need to list per day, because if we don't, we're not going to know exactly how to get there. Okay, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe down below. This is one of the most important things to talk about in the reseller community, because again, you're never going to get there if you don't know where you're going and how. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.